My vision is to sit in the back of the room and watch you thrive and get back to the industry and make it better. We're constantly looking at providing more value, tools, and services to you all. And more importantly is we're looking at non-dues revenue, because the last thing that we want to do is come and ask you for more money when we can do it elsewhere. Give a shout out to Sable Sign that we created in-house for Realtors by Realtors, under budget, by the way. Again, that's something that we own, that we can create non-dues revenue and control it 100%.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of RWorldTalk. We are joined here today, obviously, by Mr. Chuck Bonfiglio, 2026 President of Florida Realtors. Chuck, you've been in the real estate business for quite some time, actually since the 90s. You took over the family firm. Why don't you tell us about growing up around real estate and what lessons you've learned from your father, Charles Sr., who shaped how you lead today?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in the day when I used to have hair, that's what real estate does to you after, 30 or something years. So
We've seen that
that's
picture.
what you look for. Yeah, you saw that, right? Yeah, so no, thanks for the question. Quite honestly, there's a lot of lessons, that I learned, along the way. But mostly there's a few. So he was firm but fair, right? So he was able to put himself on both sides of the equation, make a decision. But once he made a decision, that was it. He also believed in giving back in different capacities. One, obviously, to our industry and our profession, but also charitable. So we were heavily involved with Easter Seals for a long time. And then we shifted to Boys and Girls Club, in our area. But most importantly, at least to me and some of you all in this room, and I'll give you a perspective on what these two words mean to me, is stand strong. And the reason that came about is because in 2008, my father was president of Florida Realtors, but he also was diagnosed with lung cancer. And no matter what he was going through at the time, he always showed up for you, for the members. So whether it was a district conference, whether it was an installation, he just traveled around the state because that was what he was elected to do. So the stand strong words kind of became our motto for that year and for our family and for people that understand that. So no matter what we're going through in the industry, whether it's a lawsuit, whether it's a recession, whether it's rates, whether it's inventory, whatever it is, we can get through it. So I invite you all to use those words for your personal and professional life, which is stand strong.
Stand strong. Those are impactful, very powerful words. I think people don't often realize what it is to be a leader, especially in an organization this size. You really don't have days off. And sometimes you got to work through no matter what it is that you're going through, whether it be a business issue, a family issue. We've got 40-something thousand people that need us here at RWorld, and then across the state, you're responsible for 200 and something thousand people at this point. And if you got the sniffles, you got to just show up and make it happen, right?
Exactly right. Yep.
Awesome. So your journey took you from listing your first deal as a teenager, which I can't even imagine somebody wanting to work with me as a teenager, because those were some wild times. But being able to take a listing, my goodness, somebody's trusting you with the biggest financial.
Leave an offer they couldn't refuse. I mean, come on.
Well, see, you're Italian. You could do those things. Nobody believes me when I tell them that. But having your first listing as a teenager, then becoming a broker in 2009, you were continuing on your father's legacy with Century 21, AAA Realty, then became your independent AAA Realty that you kept.
Absolutely.
You kept going, keeping your father's legacy going. So now becoming the 2026 president of Florida Realtors, what moment or milestone do you feel the most proud about?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. First and foremost, and I've said this along the campaign run, is I never looked up and recognized what I was doing along the way. I just kind of kept my head down and grinded. And it wasn't until I decided to run that I had to actually look up and say, oh my God, like all these committees, all this, work that was done along the way. But if I have to point out a few, obviously being president of our local association, we did some mergers along the way that I was somewhat involved in. So that I'm proud of that. Obviously where I'm at now. But C2EX is something that stands out to me as well. I was fortunate enough to be on the founding group that brought that to NAR. Most of you don't know, it's very, very difficult to get something created in NAR. There's a lot of layers, levels, budget, those types of things. And we were successful in doing so. It was about a 3-year run, to do that. And obviously that impacts a lot of the members today. And one of the most important pieces of conversation that we always have, which is professionalism. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Awesome.
Mhm.
How many people in the audience have their C2EX certification? Okay, if the person next to you did not raise their hand, please explain to them why you believe it's important to have that C2EX certification. Certainly, it really helps you stand out as a professional.
Sounds like they're doing it. Let them.
They are doing it, right? Okay, yeah, get the job done. Florida's really leading the way across the country as far as a number of C2EX endorsed professionals. So to give you guys yourselves a round of applause for those of you that have actually gone and done it. So as president-elect for Florida Realtors, what is your top goal for Florida Realtors in 2026, and why do you think it matters most for Florida's real estate professionals?
Yeah. So thanks for the question.
You don't have to keep thanking me for the question.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate it. Um, So for me, it's always been about the members, right? And we all say that, but I'm taking it a step further. And what I mean by that is we say that, productivity and profitability is something that is important to us to provide value and for you all. So I want to take it a step further. Yeah, I think I'm good. All right. So next year we're going to create a wealth building conference for realtors to understand. I know NER has their financial wellness. I mean, I know it's not a sexy kind of topic, but I think we're going to put our own spin on it to help improve your business and protect your business and to make sure that, when you all want to retire, I know realtors don't really retire, but it could be something that, that you're looking at. On top of that is there's two more parts of that. One is investing. So I do that in my business along with my wife. And it's something that I see a lot of pushback on the other side when realtors don't really understand what we're trying to do. And, they call it unethical, illegal even sometimes. So I think there's a education piece to that I think that we need to learn, not only to make more sales, but also to try to invest in ourselves to create that generational wealth and be financially secure in the future. And lastly is the coaching component of it. So we always say teach somebody how to fish, right? And then they can live forever. But
Is that all it takes? Because I fish a lot.
yeah, let's start right. Well, think about it. I mean, the fishing part is kind of funny because I mean, sometimes you go out there, you spend money, hours, and all these things, and you catch nothing, right? And it's like, come on, I'm just wasting my time.
And you still go back and do it again.
Yeah, exactly. You do it, I can do it again. But those are kind of like my priorities, and I'm thankful for the team that they're allowing me to do that. So that's my main goal for next year.
For anybody who's listening to this podcast on a Friday morning, the reason that he just said, yeah, I could say that is because Margie Grant, the CEO of Florida Realtors, happens to be sitting right in front of our table here. So he just sort of took a little,
I want to like steal the thunder. I know we have a marketing communications team, so
hey, we're live. We're letting the cat out of the bag. Margie, you better listen up. The association's 2025 theme is Champions for the American Dream. Fantastic theme. What does that phrase mean to you personally, and how has your leadership team, led by the current president, Mr. Tim Weishire, how has the LT really been bringing that to light this year?
yeah. So good question. I'm like, no, thanks for the question. Um, No, so in all seriousness, you think champions, you kind of relate to sports team kind of concept, right? And if we are all on the same page, we come together, we collaborate, and we, work towards the same goal, then we can all be kind of champions. So that's kind of the tie-in that President Tim and the team utilize for a champion for the American dream. Obviously, we know, Tim asked this to the groups is what do you think about? First and foremost, obviously with our group, we think home ownership, right? But it's much more than that. So and then this just embodies so much like collaboration, and with you guys, honestly, you're our team.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So technology been a huge part of your legacy so far, from chairing tech committees to modernizing MLS systems, helping launch C2BX. What tech trends today really excites you about real estate?
If you think about this one, how about AI, right? So look, obviously AI is coming on, very, very strong with our businesses. And I mean, it's honestly a game changer. And a little birdie told me that the AI we know today is the worst it's ever going to be, right? So it's only going to get better, advance more, understand who we are, what we are, almost like a personal coach, assistant, task force. It can basically do everything for you now. But with that comes responsibility, right? So we have to make sure that the information that it's putting out is accurate before we share it and with our customers and clients. But yeah, I mean, AI obviously is a game changer. You create videos, break up your this podcast into, I don't know, 100 different videos almost instantly and
We're
share it.
going to use it to filter out this audio because we've got echoing in the room. Oh, we've got feedback coming from the crowd. Yeah, dude, we use AI for everything.
Yeah, so I mean, you literally just have, unlimited assistance almost overnight with any project that you want to do, as well as your ongoing business and things that you may aspire to do in the future can build kind of a plan around that. So, yeah.
You guys have been spending a lot of time this year traveling all around the state. I'm sure you and George Garrow have probably geeked out in the back of a bus talking about AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And case in point is I don't see him, but Jonathan, yeah, there he is. He knows what I'm going to say. So Jonathan Lickstein is the vice chair of emerging tech.
Okay.
And another thing that the team prides itself on is really listening to the members. And I like to say, I don't care how small or big you think it is. If it's important to you, we will bring it to the team. Case in point, I was at a lunch. Jonathan called. He said, "Hey, I just want to let you know." He created these groups in emerging tech to try to move it forward. And one of them came up with this idea about how we enhance one of our products, tools, and services that we already do by instituting an AI component. And obviously, there's a budgetary component to that. So he just wanted to put it. And I think we met, I don't know, a week after that. And next thing you know, it's done in the budget and it's ready for next year. So
Everybody give a big hand to Jonathan Lickstein. Look at that. All of our homegrown talent just making waves across the state. Following up on while we stick with that tech conversation, why don't you tell us about the Innovation Fund? This is something that has been in the works for quite some time. We've seen it come to fruition, but what exciting things are coming out of that investment that you can share with us with Margie sitting front row here?
probably nothing. But I will tell you, yeah, I will tell you, we actually we have a monthly LT meeting. We had an LT meeting where we're doing one of these in Naples on Monday, and there were at least three companies and potential, interest in there for the innovation fund. So, again, we're constantly looking at providing more value, tools, and services to you all. And more importantly, is we're looking at non-dues revenue, right? So that's a big component for what the team is doing, not only now but for the future. Because the last thing that we want to do is come and ask you for more money when we can do it elsewhere.
So is there a channel we've got a lot of bright minds in this room and people have a lot of connections across the country and across the world. Is there an avenue for somebody to bring something like that to the leadership team and say, "Hey, I heard about this fantastic new product. You guys should really check it out."
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, you can come directly to us. As I said, Lickstein will be the chair next year for emerging tech.
Okay.
So that's going to be like the vetting kind of beginning process, and then there'll be another layer above that. That if they say, "Hey, we're interested in doing this," then there's another obviously component with a consultant, piece of that VC to educate us. Because the last thing we want to do is just haphazardly. Invest your money
Sure.
in something that we're not, understanding ourselves. So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more components than rather just saying, "Hey, this is a great tool for my business." Obviously there's a monetary component of it. There's again an investment side of it to create hopefully some non-dues revenue. What we want to move away from too, as an organization, is become consumers all the time of these products because they could get very expensive. So we're trying to recreate and keep it kind of in-house more.
Yeah, a tech startup is a hefty investment, and 99.9% of them fail. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you guys are doing a fantastic job of
Yeah.
adding our slew products, but it would be really cool if we were making our own products.
Yeah.
Um,
Give a shout out to Sable Sign. So that is our latest tool, a service that we created in house for realtors by realtors, under budget, by the way. So be proud of that. It's not just a switch from one company to the other. Again, that's something that we own,
awesome.
right? That we can create non-dues revenue and control it 100%. So yeah.
See, you did have something to share with us.
Well, that's an easy one.
Okay, so Florida Realtors opens committee applications every spring. We have them going until about mid-May, May 15th cutoff date. Why is active member participation so vital to your vision? I mean, you're in a room full of leaders here, so for these guys might not be the most interesting conversation, but certainly we've got listeners and viewers from all over that are looking to get involved. Why don't you tell us about how that really changes the narrative?
Yeah, so the committees are obviously an extension of our leadership team, right? We it's not about five of us or one of us, it's about all of us, right? So we all come from different walks of life, come from maybe different industries before we became realtors. So we need to utilize those minds and those ideas. Like I said, I mean, Lickstein created those groups
Yeah.
because he was in charge of that committee, and we were able to take advantage of that. So the committee selection does come every year. We made a conscious effort to, when we were reviewing, we bring in the whole team. We look at all the asks from you guys, the request, and we try to strategically place the people in the right seats that have the courage to speak up, challenge the system, challenge the status quo, because that's how we make the organization better. We want to make sure that you guys are vocal, respectfully, obviously, and make sure you bring good ideas forward, for the organization.
You guys heard that. Respectfully vocal, please.
Yes.
Uh,
It,
so to coming from Broward County and now to helping lead a statewide association of nearly 230 something thousand and change realtors now at this point, what's your approach to balancing local priorities with statewide goals?
Yeah, so similar to what the team is doing now with broker roundtables is, we now is the time more than ever that we have to be more collaborative, and we have to go. We can't just wait for brokers or for members to approach us. We actually have to go to the grassroots efforts and hear what's important to them, what challenges they have, so that we can be a more effective team. We're not naive to the fact that everyone doesn't come to the conventions and all the programs that we put on through the year, which is a lot. We still have to come to these. And I can tell you that the team looks forward to coming to these district conferences and the roundtables and in your backyard, so that we can hear directly, from you all.
Okay, awesome. Last couple questions. Family life, hugely important to you. I know this on a personal level. You and Tiffany have twin 17-year-olds. Tiffany's his wife, for anybody who does not know that. Charles the Third. I wish I had a name as Charles Third. It's so regal. Charles the Third and Antonia. How do you juggle being a dad, being a husband, and obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, we're running Florida Realtors, and being a part of that leadership team is incredibly busy. How do you juggle all of it?
Yeah, it's very busy. So just to give you an indication, we were in Naples on Monday, right? Came back, did the Broken Roundtable here yesterday. We obviously had this event, and then we have to jump in the car and head to the Keys for D4, which starts tonight, and then Thursday and Friday. So that's basically the whole week. So the way that you do it is a couple ways. Is one is you have to obviously have a support system at home, but what I'll caution you in doing is you have to protect themselves from themselves. So 9 times out of 10, your family is going to say, "Yeah, we support you. That would be amazing," right? But they don't know what they don't know, right? Most of the time, they're not realtors. They're not traveling around with you. They're not, seeing all the phone calls and texts and all these things that you have to do on a daily basis. So, um, if you decide to do these types of things, whether it's run for committee, run for state, national, or any of those things, you just have to be very, very, very aware of your personal positions, where if you have kids, like the age of them. And this brings me to one of my points is there's a lot of people that are voluntold, as the joke is, or, well, they asked me, so I have to say yes. No, the most important word that you can learn in this journey is no.
Are
Right.
you
So
listening, Lisa Stewart?
yeah, if you're not ready, if you're not ready, someone's getting called out. Where is she? But in all seriousness, it doesn't mean no forever. It just means no now. And a true leader will understand that and recognize that, and respect it. And honestly, it's a non-negotiable for me, and it's a non-negotiable for the rest of the team. So, for instance, if one of the team members or several of the team members can't make an event, then it's, hey, we got you.
Yep.
It's not, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta cover this person, that. It's like, no, hey, go handle your business, do what you gotta do. To that point is last week, my son plays soccer for high school and his schedule came out. So I said, here, Mike Kabibo, put it in the calendar. I don't want any conflicts on there. I mean, obviously, when I have the conversation with Tiffany, my kids, I'm like, there's things that I have to do, and I understand that. But for the most part, that's why we have a team and a tremendous staff to back us up.
Awesome. Last couple questions. This one should be an easy one for you. What legacy do you hope to leave at Florida Realtors, and what advice would you give to future generations of realtors that are following in your footsteps?
Yeah, so that's an easy one for me. So again, I mean, I know we say it, but I honestly, my joy comes from watching you all succeed. And if I or the team had a small hand in that, like that's it. My vision is to sit in the back of the room, watch you all up front here, and watch you thrive and give back to the industry and make it better. With your efforts.
Awesome. Last question is the one that I ask of every single guest that we've had on the podcast so far. Florida has a ton of attractions and lots of little hidden local gems. You're Broward County, born and raised, so we need your local gem. Could be a beach spot, a park, a local dive bar, ice cream place for your kids. What do you love about living in South?
So Jeff will like this one. So we were at an event at Hard Rock Hotel. And I said, Jeff, because he's a foodie, I'm a foodie. Like we were always sharing TikToks and things. And Boca's amazing, by the way. I mean, Boca has so many restaurant opportunities. Every time I'm here, I'm like, come on, Jeff, we got to go somewhere. But what I would say is probably Sonny's Steak Hoagies. So it's in Hollywood. It's off Taft and 65th. Been there since the 50s. Hasn't changed a bit. Cash only. Right. So before we went, I'm like, Jeff, do you have cash on you? Because it's cash only. But amazing.
That's when you know the food's going to be good.
Yes.
Like not cash only. I don't care about the
Yeah, they haven't updated. Guy Fieri was there, I think twice now. So I would probably say that. Amazing, steak hoagies. They make their own bread and all that. And they obviously have other, items as well. But yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. We've got to do a little RWorldTalk road show where we just like go around and hit all these little hidden gems that
That'd be amazing.
over the course of the years. Chuck, thank you so much for being with us today, and we will see all of you right back here next time, Friday, 8 a.m. on RWorldTalk.
Thank you.